Larry and Anne Marie Del Principe joined me this morning on Jersey Magazine, and we're going to be talking about a Bridgewater-based charity, A Breath for Alessandra. Larry, Anne Marie, good morning and welcome to Jersey
Oh,
Magazine. First, tell me about the charity, A Breath for Alessandra.
sure, Jim, and thanks for having us on. We really appreciate that. The charity is in memory of our daughter, Alessandra. She passed away at the age of 27. She had a severe asthma attack during her twin sister's wedding reception on May 1st in 2021, and she passed away on May 2nd due to complications to that. She eventually went to cardiac arrest, and then
Did you?
she had brain she was brain dead at that point. And so after she died, friends of ours, very close friends of ours in the Bridgewater area, we discussed having a charity in her memory to bring about awareness of asthma and how dangerous it can be, even though you're taking the right protocols. And so with that charity, plus both our girls had cerebral palsy. They were born at 28 weeks. We decided to help children who are disabled, who have cerebral palsy or other disabilities besides asthma. So we set that charity up, and we are helping high school seniors in Bridgewater High School with scholarships, families who have some medical bills related to either disability or chronic breathing issues. And then we also help students at Brescia University, where Alessandra went in Kentucky. It's in Owensboro, Kentucky. She went there online, but she did very well there, and we wanted to give back to them as well.
It's an amazing story on its own, just what happened at the wedding. And, you referenced both of them having cerebral palsy as well. What were some of the challenges that you faced with both daughters growing up?
Wow. Well, both of them were born with in interventional hemorrhages, so we didn't know the extent until they reached their milestone. With Alessandra, who was born first, she just had one side. It affected her gait a little bit. While Adriana was more prominent with her disability, the doctors told us that she wouldn't be able to use her hands and her legs. And I said, oh, that's not going to happen with me. So with giving up my career and staying home with them, we did vigorous, what do you call it?
Well, we had therapy
Therapy
twice a week
and
at home.
at home. And then we had them, with IEP at school. And then we did about 18 surgeries between both of them, with that. And that was a lot of issues too with my other daughter, Adriana. She had anaphylactic shock during her surgeries. They had to, they have to do a bilateral derotational osteotomy, which is like cut the legs both, and from her hips and rotate them straight. And then she was in a body cast for about, I don't know, 2 months.
Yeah.
And then Alessandra had one leg with the same process. And then they have it's what do you call it? Hill cord lengthening, hip flexors lengthening. It was just constant surgeries. But because of our dedication and making them independent, Adriana became a lawyer. So she's barred in both Pennsylvania, Virginia,
And DC.
and DC. She married a wonderful guy. They're both beautiful girls. And she had the most beautiful handwriting for someone who cannot use her hand. She drives. She's an independent woman that's married now. And Alessandra too. She was dating a wonderful man for about 7 years, and he was going to propose right after the wedding. So they were on their own. So we
They were
gave
very independent. Yeah.
very independent, and we defied every what do you call it
Odds.
odds with
Well,
them
until we thought we beat every odds until it happened to
until
ourselves.
that day. And it was a day that was supposed to be a joyous day, and we actually missed the whole wedding.
What I'm hearing though throughout all of this is just resilience and
Yeah.
and strength. So I'm not surprised that in the shock of what happened, the two of you turned around and go, we're going to make something out of this. And here you birth a charity that's been going now. I think this is what the fourth annual golf outing that's coming up in the middle of May. I'm not
Yeah.
surprised at all.
Well, we had no choice, Jim. The alternative was not in our DNA to give up. and we felt we had to give back and make people understand the dangers of asthma and how important it is. Even today, today is more serious than ever.
Right.
And a lot of people know 10 people a day die from an asthma attack in this country. And it's very prominent in the inner cities, you know, in like Newark, Trenton, Camden, the Bronx, because of just the compressed atmosphere and the pollution. And it's more prominent today than ever. And we've been working with the Asthma and Allergy Foundation
In DC.
in DC to help us get
Aware.
out there, make people aware. They come to a golf outing and they help, you know, get people aware of what's going on in the asthma world.
And I know that there's a bill that's being proposed right now that would,
Yes.
I guess, require an EMT to be present at certain functions with 1,000 or more people. Tell us about that bill and what it's going to take to get it passed.
Well, it's Eric Peterson is leading the charge there, but we need some support. It's sitting in the Consumer Affairs area, and it's bill number 2579, and we want this passed to help other people having weddings or bar mitzvahs or sweet 16, because you never know what can happen at an event. And just think about it. If someone gets a sprained ankle, someone's there to help them out, right?
Or a heart attack or anaphylactic shock.
Something, you know, and you know, we at our golf outings now, we have an EMT present. You know, we have the local, I think it's from Ringo's. They're there at our golf event all day. And we feel that this will help some EMTs make some extra money on the side, being at an event. And so the bill is anything less than 1,000, the event will have to notify the people having the event that this is available. It's not mandatory. They can go out and get the EMT and have them present. Anything over 1,000 would be required. So,
Like a small concert.
you know, small concert, you know, you can have an EMT present. And the interesting thing was about a year ago, there was, I think, a meeting in Trenton, War Memorial with the
quorum.
with the legislature, and someone went into fainted, and
There was no EMT there.
And something Peterson was the guy that was present when it was happening, and he was calling up trying to get 911, and he couldn't get the right 911, I guess, in Trenton, and there was no EMT present there.
Luckily, the person was a minor thing, but not having EMT, people were just going
You know,
berserk because they didn't know what to do. You know, is he having a heart attack? Is he having an anaphylactic shock? Nobody knew, but he's fine. But he just realized firsthand having someone there eliminates that.
It gives you the ease of mind, right? You know, that's the thing, ease of mind and a little bit of peace, right? So, you know, we need some support to get this through from both sides of the aisle, because it doesn't cost the state anything. And for New Jersey to be the first one to pass this would be fantastic, because it could start a trend. Right now, we live in Virginia now, to be close to Adriana. We've been here since September
2.5 years.
2.5 years. But our base is in New Jersey. All our friends are up there. You know, we lived there for 30 years. So we're thinking that's why we want to focus on New Jersey. And, you know, for us, it seems common sense. We know EMTs, we know how strained they are currently getting membership, but maybe this is a way to drive membership or get them on board. Would be great to see them on board with us as well.
So, Jim, I just want to interject here. This why is really important as a mom. Okay, when you see your daughter lying on the floor and you hold her and she says, "I can't breathe," everyone was saying, "Get the defibrillator," but she's not having a heart attack. She can't breathe. She just needed oxygen. Right. So if we knew that we could have rent an EMT. My mom was 93 years old. We had some elderly people there. We had so many people who were in the medical field. They couldn't do anything without that oxygen. If we had an EMT, he would have just stepped into that place. Now, we don't know the outcome, okay, but the known that he would have given her oxygen, would have given her a shot, at least I said I did the best I could. Today, I have to live with that, knowing that there was nobody there to help her. And it was a simple solution. And so I don't want any mom to be in that predicament to ever question themselves again, why didn't I have that? It doesn't cost like $400. If you have to pay for insurance for a wedding or for a big bar mitzvah, sweet 16, what's another $400?
And
So in 1 week we had a wedding and a funeral.
yeah,
And to be buried on Mother's Day and they were born on Father's Day, it's your mind just,
yeah,
you kind of thought, what if? And I don't want anyone to go through what we're going through. That's why we're pushing this bill.
and Jim, the EMTs, they got there within 8 minutes,
But it's not
and they worked on her for an hour and a half.
no, it's not. It was more than that.
And they did the best they could, and there was nothing against them. It was just the odds were against her at that time.
All right.
So
For
we
our Jersey
decided to buy.
Magazine listeners who want to learn more about the charity A Breath for Alessandra, where can they go?
It's abfacharity.org.
So a Breath for Alessandra charity. So it's
Yeah, and we're on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all on social media.
And again, the 4th annual golf outing and dinner is being held on May 16th. Again, the website is abfacharity.org. Larry and Anne Marie, thank you so much for your time this morning here on Jersey Magazine. And best of luck with this. And I have to tell you that your passion for this really, really shines through. It's very inspirational.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
Jim.
day. Thank you.